Yeah, let us do it. It is that time. It is that time. All right, what is going on? Yes, we are live covering the very latest in wrestling entertainment and beyond. Since 2011, I am the one and only the Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders. You're checking out an all new The RCWR show coming at you for Tuesday night, February 20th, 2018. How the hell y'all been, man? Here we are once again. Got a nice, good deluxe edition episode planned for you guys, man. We're streaming live right now on Facebook, YouTube, Spreaker. Take your pick, man. So many great avenues. We are also streaming live on the new, because it's still new. We only launched it a couple of weeks ago. Of course, I'm talking about the RCWR Show app. Yes, the RCWR Show actually has its own app. It is available for you Android lovers in the Google Play Store. Go check it out. It's free. You can't beat free. You don't have to pay $1.99 or $3.99 or $5.99 or have to have a monthly subscription just to be able to continue to access the app, unlike some guys out there. I'm not picking on anybody in particular. I just know the game. I know the game that's played. Hey, I respect the hustle, but come on, if we can give you some good stuff for free, why not? So, we just saw SmackDown go off the air. We'll dive a little bit into that. We'll also backtrack, talk a little bit about Raw. Fun headlines that had came about. A lot of stuff went down since last we were on the air with you guys. Of course, I did make a little bit of a cameo President's Day, talking about the breaking news of Jeff Jarrett entering the 2018 WWE Hall of Fame. Yeah, and I tell you, there were a decent amount of you guys during the initial live stream that were pretty vocal about whether or not Jeff Jarrett should be going into the WWE Hall of Fame. And I tell you what, we're definitely going to follow up on that. I know we have to, because there was one angle that I purposely had left out of talking about from Monday that I wanted to get into on tonight's show. Now, I need for you guys to work with me because we're trying something new here tonight. Now, I've been getting a hang of streaming live. I tested out all the kinks before we came on live here, but for you longtime listeners, you may notice a little bit of a difference. And if you said the mic, you are correcto mundo. So what I'm going to need as far as help from you, the listeners, if my mic is sounding too loud or it's coming off distorted, I need to know. I tested everything out beforehand. We should be good to go. But if you guys are noticing any type of issues, I don't want you all thinking that it's something at your end. Just bring it to my attention and I'll try to see if maybe I can adjust the gain or the volume. So we'll see what happens. Long overdue, man. I was long overdue for a mic upgrade, and what I got right now, I had heard a lot of great positive reviews for it. So we're going to try this out for a little bit, give it a couple of days, couple of weeks, and if everything works out good, I'll be keeping this bad boy. So I teased it off and on throughout social media, and here we are tonight. We can now officially reveal this big announcement, this big, huge news that I was looking forward to. I still am very looking forward to sharing it with you all. Now, some of you long-time listeners, you may kind of know about the news I'm getting ready to dive into, but I'm just going to throw it out there and we'll backtrack in a little bit. Okay, so the big news. The RCWR show is once again taking the show on the road this year. As for the second, count it, the second year in a row, the RCWR show has been invited back to cover Awesome Con. This go round, man, you talk about bigger, badder, better than ever before. The card for Awesome Con this year at the Convention Center in Washington, D.C., it is jam-packed, let me tell you. And the show's going to be on the road once again, going to be covering all 3 days of the event. And I tell you what, it was a really great learning experience when I had did it last year. And I was trying for the very first time officially having the show be on the road, doing on the spot interviews, doing all types of coverage basically, and it was a great learning experience. And I'm just one of those type of guys. I learn real quick. So what was working and what wasn't working, like I all Tammy will tell you, all I could say to myself afterwards was can't wait to go back, want to do it again next year. But like everything that we learned hands on, like now when we get ready to go there the next go round, we'll be more than ready to go. So I'm looking forward to it. And I have a little bit of a message for you guys out there. Look, as far as the wrestling aspects go, Dave Batista is going to be there. All three members of New Day is also going to be there. Just announced earlier today by Awesome Khan via social media. Tommy Dreamer, ECW original Tommy Dreamer, he's going to be there. Christian, future WWE Hall of Famer, should he be recognized for his singles? Makes you wonder. That's a debate for another time. But Christian is going to be there as well. So heads up to you guys, for those of you that's not going to be able to come on out to the Awesome Con event. If you maybe want some signed 8x10s by any of the guys that I just mentioned, let me know. Hit me up through our social media, or you can send me an email address. And the email address, you can easily, two email addresses. You can either do infinity1productions@gmail.com. That's with an E, put in actual number one, infinity1productions@gmail.com. Or you can hit me up at the RCWRShow@gmail.com. Make sure you put the THE in there, the RCWRShow@gmail.com, and we'll work it out. So I'll let you know what the prices are, and I'll provide the link to you guys so you all can see that I'm not trying to cheat you whatsoever out of the charging for the autographs. But we'll work it out. If it's a situation where money is a little bit tight for you, as long as you pretty much are able to make the payment arrangements that I can try to set up for you, once everything is paid in full, that's how we'll mail it out to you that way or whatever. But for those of you that like, oh man, all those guys are going to be there. Oh man, I'd love to get an 8x10. Like, I'll work with you guys. Just let me know. Let me know what's going on with your situation and all that. You'll do it on a case by case basis. And if I can help you out, I'll definitely let you know. If I can't help you out, I'll let you know straight up whether or not we can do it. I think RF Video, if I'm not mistaken, RF Video is going to be there too, or RF Video is going to have a booth there as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Awesome Con is about less than, I want to say, about maybe 40 days away, give or take. So it's getting there. It's getting there. I'm excited. I'm pumped up. I can't wait. The different type of people that we'll be able to interview this go round. I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. Already got equipment ready to go. So looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it. I do hope your week has been going off to a really great start. And where do we want to begin with tonight's show, man? I'm telling you, it's like so much stuff has gone down, man. I guess, honestly, how about the biggest piece of news that has come about? Now, I'm not talking about Jeff Jarrett. Well, that's kind of big news because it's got everybody kind of divided right now. But the other news that I'm talking about that's big pieces of news is what's going on with the WWE pay-per-view. So some breaking news had came about over the weekend. Of all the times for the news to break about, the news came about during the weekend that WWE was no longer going to be doing dual branded pay-per-views. So you hear that and you're kind of going, holy crap, say what? And WWE had put out a statement, an official statement, pretty much saying what's going on. And you first hear this, you're kind of going, hey, this is pretty awesome. This is like great news. All right, we no longer have to feel like we're tied down to watching two pay-per-views a month. Now we can just watch our Raw, watch our SmackDown, maybe a little NXT, and then once a month we have a pay-per-view. Okay, that's fantastic. So you're kind of walking away going, great. But then when you read further into the press release, you're going, oh, wait a minute. So we're getting one less pay-per-view, but it's coming off as though everything is going to be crammed into that one pay-per-view each month. So basically, it's going to be a situation now where Raw and SmackDown are pretty much going to be combining for every single pay-per-view, and the cards, it's going to be jam-packed. So you're talking about a situation where maybe at one point you would normally get somewhere between 5, maybe 7 matches for a brand. Well, now that's going to be extended to probably anywhere between, oh, I would say maybe 14, 15 matches a month that we might get. So now you're talking about a pay-per-view that could be going almost 4 hours long every single month. Add on top of that a pre-show. Now, WWE, they have done their experiments. Now, again, look, this ain't official, but as of Backlash, May 6th, their pay-per-views will only be for both brands. So they released the dates, and the way it's looking right now, there's going to be a total of 12 pay-per-views for 2018. Now, you're still going to have the Elimination Chamber, which is coming up this Sunday, which we'll be talking about later on, as I'll offer some chamber picks, which is also followed up by Fastlane. Fastlane is going to be a SmackDown exclusive show. So pretty much right after you get done with Elimination Chamber and Fastlane, that's when pretty much everything is just going to be from then on out. Both brands will be participating in one pay-per-view event. So the report that's being put out right now, as far as the changes being made to the original pay-per-view schedule, remember Payback, which up to now was a SmackDown event that was scheduled for May 27th. Well, that's been removed altogether. Extreme Rules for the Raw brand, that was initially to be on September 16th. That now has been pushed up to July 15th with Battleground, which is a Raw themed event, being removed. Hell in a Cell for SmackDown was on September 30th, but that's now been moved to September the 16th. So, yeah, y'all got to face the reality here. This is good news, but this is bad on a couple of levels, because it could be bad for the simple standpoint of, if now both brands are going to be combining, just use common sense, people. Just hear me out. Use common sense. And I'm not saying that in a dickish type of way. I'm just saying all of us, including myself, let's just really keep it real and let's really look at this from all perspectives. So you have one pay-per-view now, and Raw and SmackDown need to participate on that pay-per-view event. One, you've got to make sure that whatever is your biggest rivalries that's going on, that you're able to incorporate those rivalries on those pay-per-views. Number two, you're drawing your superstars that definitely are drawing ticket sales. They're drawing the sales for merchandise. You definitely got to make sure that those guys are representing, right? So you got to factor those two things in. The other thing that you have to factor in is there's probably going to be just possibly some of your favorite stars that are going to be left off of these pay-per-views because everything has to be crammed in, right? Here's the other scenario that you have to consider as well. And all of this probably won't really be sorted out until after WrestleMania, and maybe when it's time for the next time to shake things up, or the next draft, mock draft, or whatever. But the other thing that you have to consider is what's going to happen with the championships. What's going to happen with all of those titles now that both brands are going to be won again? Are you going to start to see a situation where certain titles get phased out? I mean, let's be honest. The way things stand right now, if you were to ask me realistically, Lee, if you had to merge both brands, but you had to get rid of a couple of titles, which titles would you get rid of? The titles that jump out at me off the break, I would get rid of one of those tag team titles. I would be more interested in trying to establish the tag belts that has like been through the WWE for many, many decades that you can somehow, no matter what different names or when it relaunched, you could basically trace it on back to when those tag belts were first presented to us under the WWE. So I would like to keep those tag belts around, get rid of the other ones. That way, everybody's fighting for the same tag team titles. As much as I love the Intercontinental title and I love the United States title, there's a big part of me that feels as though you have to keep both of those around. I actually would keep both of those around. Just me. As far as the women's titles that's floating around, you got to get rid of one of them. Pretty much same rules apply to what I had just described for the tag titles. I would try to implement the same thing for the women's titles. Let the women pretty much fight for one title. With regards to the world heavyweight titles for both brands, I would keep both of those intact. I know some people are going with the more popular. Nah, it makes a lot more sense. Just let it be singular. Let everybody just be focusing on one title because, from the consumer standpoint, you have so many people that's okay. Who's got this title and who's got that title? I know a lot of people want it more simplified, but I love the opportunity as it stands right now that presents itself for SmackDown because you're looking at certain guys over on the blue brand that you're going, man, I would love it if these guys could just get that opportunity to do XYZ. And SmackDown, as of late, it's been providing that opportunity, coining the phrase the land of opportunity. It's definitely been warranting that to a degree, although it could be better in some areas. It could definitely be better in some areas. But when you really kind of stop and think about it, it does make a lot of sense to drop some of those titles to go on ahead and initiate this. Not to mention, WWE has been hustling these past couple of years, and I'm sure it's probably no secret to you guys, but ultimately, the way that this decision had came about, WWE just realized, hey, we're not really making any money off of doing these extra live events, and we're trying to put ourselves in a position where we can save more money. We're doing enough as it is from a production value standpoint and cost cutting measures, but doing these extra pay-per-views is really not generating the amount of revenue as we anticipated, as we would like. So you really got to factor all of those things in that is ultimately leading up to this situation. When you look over on the Raw side of things and you think about your Roman Reigns, your Seth Rollins, your Dean Ambrose, right? You also look at your Finn Balor. You look at your Jason Jordan. We got to go on ahead and throw his name in there. You got to look at guys like Big Cass. You've also got to look at what's going on when the participants from 205, when they're doing their thing on Monday Night Raw. Sometimes those guys get a spot on the pay-per-view as well. When you look at Absolution, when you look at Ronda Rousey, when you look at Nia Jax, when you look at Sasha Banks, Bayley, Alexa Bliss, you go over to SmackDown, you look at AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal, Shelton Benjamin, Chad Gable. I mean, so many names. Shinsuke Nakamura, Natty, Charlotte. You look at all of these girls, all of these talents. Sami Zayn over on the blue brand. That's a lot of names. And if you were to tell me, oh, yeah, we can cram this in 2 hours, there's no way. There's no way. So realistically, when you really stop and think about it, we could potentially be looking at a up to 4-hour pay-per-view extravaganza once a month. Now, that would mean that the pay-per-view would probably be coming on. What's that? Would that make it 7? 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So that means your pay-per-view would begin at 7 p.m. So your kickoff would probably be at 6 p.m. Hopefully they don't make it 5 p.m. to try to do a 2-hour pre-show event. I just think that's silly, but at the same time, if there's other talents that you want to see how they fare, or you want to just give them a nod, a 2-hour pre-show would be just fine. That way you could try to get as many guys participating as possible. But realistically, when you look at the pay-per-view itself, it's possible that we could be looking at up to a 4-hour event. I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty exhausting. But at the same time, if it means that I'll have a free weekend, a bonus free weekend, I love it. I'm down for it, quite honestly. I can't tell you, as I've gotten older, okay, I've got to do the Tuesday night show. And then heaven forbid, it's a situation where, okay, now I got to come on, I got to do a Sunday night show. Don't let it be a situation where NXT takeover weekend, then the schedule is, okay, I got to do Tuesday, then I've got to do Saturday for takeover. Oh, Sunday, I've got to cover the WWE pay-per-view event. So to be now in a situation where, okay, you're guaranteed Tuesday night show. So you got 4 episodes right there. Then you have one Sunday a month. Okay, so basically I'm doing 5 shows a month total. That's actually not too bad when you really stop and think about it. So I'm sure for me and a lot of my colleagues that's out there, we're probably kicking back going, it's not really too bad. But I would imagine for some fans, they're going to find it to be a bit upsetting. And it's kind of understandable because remember when the whole brand thing came about the first go round, those first couple of years, we loved it. It felt like business was thriving from the standpoint of creatively wondering how certain guys would do if given the opportunity to shine. But then year after year, it just started to really fizzle out. It just got to that point where everybody, including myself, was going, hey, can we see both brands be put back together? Can all the titles just be eliminated? Can we just see one show again, one brand? That would just be great. Like everybody's fighting for just this title, this title, this title. Let's not have all these titles running around. When you look at what's currently happening with the brand split and you compare it to what came about years prior to the first go round, I'm liking this run a lot better, a lot better. But like I said earlier, if it was a situation where you had to eliminate a couple of titles, from what I said earlier, that's really the way that you do it. But I'm sure everything is still in the early phases right now. And ultimately, WWE is going to do what they do best and really consider what's best for the bottom dollar as opposed to what fans want. Although I must admit, I would not have any problems filling out some type of a questionnaire slash survey for the guys if they were to pose that out there. So just a little bit of food for thought. I want to take this time out. Thank those of you that's checking out the show right now. I hope you're having a good time. If you are, make sure you click however you're checking it out right now. If you're checking it out on YouTube, make sure, really, most importantly, aside from liking or disliking, if anything, comment. That's really essential, especially for those of you that's going to be watching this on demand. For those of you that's checking this out via Spreaker, make sure you click on the like/heart icon. Click on that bad boy, really helps out. Facebook, you've got the like, you've got the share, you've got the comments, you got a lot of cool options over there for you guys. So take your pick, but it really does help out when you do those acts. Thank you in advance for that act of kindness. So we had a little bit of Raw, we had a little bit of SmackDown. I have to say, looking at the 2 shows that we had for this week, I actually enjoyed what we got from Raw better, to the point, I do it for you guys every single Monday night. As soon as Raw goes off the air, ask you all, what did you make of this week's WWE Raw to the Twitter poll. We go now. We got a Twitter poll and a YouTube poll. So let's see how you guys had rated it on Twitter first, since I'm already here. And let's see if we can load this up. I really haven't been tweeting that much today, so I should be able to come across this with ease. Within about maybe 5 more seconds, I should have it. Let's see. Yep, we got it. So we actually, how would you rate this week's WWE Raw? We got about 69 votes via Twitter. Almost a tie. No. Yeah, man, almost a 3-way tie. Wow, haven't seen that in a good minute. So we have 30% of you that's giving it a thumbs down. 34% of you are staying in the middle. And just by a hair with the lead, 36% of you gave it a thumbs up. Now, for those of you that may be a little bit curious, well, what about YouTube? What's going on with the polling for YouTube? Well, I'm glad you asked. You want to hear it? Here you go. I'll tell you right now. Way it's looking right now for that. Let's see, let's load this one up. Actually, I can just click on this bad boy here. And oh, nope. Bear with me, guys. I should already have this ready to go. I'll work it out next time. All right. And remember, if you guys want to cast your vote and you got Twitter, I'm on Twitter at the RCWR Show. And if you want to vote on YouTube, you can do that by clicking on over to the home page for the RCWR Show and click on the communities tab. We have 2 polls that's up this week. So for Raw via YouTube, we've got 11% of you all that gave the show a thumbs down. 42% of you are staying in the middle. 47% of you are giving it a thumbs up. I'm leaning more towards a thumbs up this week. I know I've been a Debbie Downer when it comes to Raw these past couple of weeks. I actually had enjoyed the show this week, I must admit. I love the whole gauntlet match series that really had kicked things off. I enjoyed that. I loved seeing Seth Rollins taking on John Cena. That was a fantastic matchup. That was the type of matchup that was pay-per-view quality. That's how well booked, that's how well of a good flow Cena Rollins had together Monday night. Enjoyed it thoroughly. One of those moments that just really, and I know Seth Rollins got the whole standing ovation from the crowd. Everybody was chanting, "Thank you, Seth." But I've always been a firm believer in it takes 2 to tango. I just feel that John Cena, I've warmed up to him over the years. I really, really have. John Cena doesn't get the type of credit that he deserves. And sure, some people may be real quick to say, oh, well, the guy only had this move, and this move. His move set was so limited. And some could say no different than the Hulkster. But when you look at some of your other favorite guys over the years that drew a decent amount of money, some of their moves were pretty basic, pretty limited. Really the same old thing if you stop and think about it, but would probably have made the fans ignore that or just say, we can look past that. It's okay. Yeah, we know, but we can look past that. It's all good. Is if they had oozing charisma. So, but for me, John Cena, just in my mind, and I have been in the past one of the anti-Cena supporters, just leading that flag. Just I can remember times I would rip John Cena for about 20 minutes, but sadly, when you get older, you just really kind of take a step back and you try to look at things from all perspectives. You try to be a little bit more wiser. You try to be a little bit more honest in your thinking and not be so one-dimensional. I really enjoyed what I saw from both men last week. I know Seth Rollins is going to get all the credit, but it takes 2 to tango. Just really kind of made me a little bit sad in a way because we're seeing Cena's career wind down. And yeah, we can get all those little silly promos that's coming from Cena every single time something goes not his way, and he's cutting this promo. "Oh, I'm not really sure what to do," and he takes off a wristband and puts it in the middle of the ring, and we think we have seen the last of Cena, or maybe he's hinting at retirement. Who knows? But it just kind of makes me, I won't say wish that we had Cena for more years, or I wish we had John Cena from 5 years ago, right now in today's WWE product. I'm not even going to be willing to jump out there like that, but it is kind of interesting when I really stop and think about it. As long as I've been watching the WWE product, seeing the different transitions that it's been going in, when John Cena is finally said and done with, is WWE going to be in some really good hands? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's going to be in really good hands. Next man up. That's how it has always been in the WWE. And I feel in my heart of hearts that honestly, they are just really getting to that point. WWE does not need John Cena. They don't. But great match. Also had enjoyed Seth Rollins taking on Roman Reigns, was it? Yeah, Seth Rollins had took on Roman Reigns first, then he took on John Cena. Yeah, Roman Reigns one, that was a really good match as well. Seth Rollins lasting, how long was that? About an hour and 10 minutes. Fantastic, fantastic. Then seeing him go up against Elias, that went down exactly the way I thought it was going to go down. Elias taking on Miz. That went as expected. Braun coming out there. That was awesome. That was all, that was just great. And it made 2 hours fly by so fast that it wasn't even funny. I couldn't help but look pretty much after I realized, wow, I've been watching Seth Rollins now for about over an hour in his match against was it John Cena, going, wow, like time is just flying by. I was actually into it. One thing that I kind of found a little bit disheartening was, and it had a ESPN type of feel to it as well, seeing the losing participant talk backstage with Renee Young about them being at the losing end. What did they take from it? And at one point, we see Seth Rollins after he loses to Elias, and he tells Renee, "Hey, honestly, what happened out there tonight, that was great and all, but it don't mean nothing if I don't win at Elimination Chamber." Well, I just kind of thought about it a little bit, and I couldn't help but say to myself, what was the point of these gauntlet matches that we had got for Monday night? That never really was established. Maybe I missed it. Was it a situation where they had said, "Oh, all the participants that's going to be at the Elimination Chamber, they're going to have a bit of a tune-up match"? Maybe I missed it, because honestly, if that's legitimately what was said, I'm saying to myself, okay, all right, well, if it's a tune-up match just for them to get ready, okay, no problem. But to just be involved in a gauntlet match that is just continuing on and on and on until you lose or you win the whole damn thing. I'm just thinking from the booking standpoint, okay, physically, where's this person going to be come the pay-per-view? Will they really have recovered within what, 6 days after Monday Night Raw? Because you're pretty much going from that to the pay-per-view. So will they really be on point by then, or what? So I don't know. For me, sometimes I kind of look at matches like that and I go, well, what's the carrot dangling over the heads here? Why should everybody be giving a damn about this gauntlet match when there's nothing really at stake? Why should these people care? Why should they put in all this demanding physical energy just from a booking standpoint? Like, what's the carrot? Because we saw for a couple of weeks there was some type of a running gag. Oh, well, if this person loses to this person, whoever loses, they're gonna have to enter the chamber last. We're gonna do a triple threat, and whoever wins that triple threat, they're gonna be able to, what is it, come out last or whatever, all kinds of funny little stuff. And you're kind of going, wait, what's the motivation here? It was good. Don't get me wrong, guys. I still enjoyed what I had got of the night. And I had no problem with the women closing out Raw. No problem with that whatsoever. You really stop and think about it. We had almost got about 2 hours of of men. So for me to see the women get the love and pretty much close out the night, honestly, I had no problem with that whatsoever. One thing that I felt was a little bit cringeworthy was the long Oscar promo, although it did redeem itself shortly afterwards. Nipple slip, but no, I didn't like how it began with Oscar talking with Renee. It seemed as though I don't know who had the idea, but somebody had decided let's make Oscar talk for longer than a minute. And that was just cringe worthy. And I don't know how many of you all have saw the tweet that I put out there, but I actually had posed the question, was WWE maybe somewhat inspired by what they had got of Fergie with the NBA national anthem over the weekend? Because everybody was just trolling the hell out of that. Is it possible? Is it humanly possible? And some people may say, hell no, Lee. No, no, no. But I mean, just hear me out. Hear me out. WWE has had a history out of looking at something that happened outside of the WWE that was trending, that was really, really popular. And they have gone, oh, we got to capitalize on that. We've got to do our own unique WWE spin to it. We've seen it time and time and time and time again. I mean, come on, man. Think about the OJ White Ford Bronco. I mean, that's a good example right there, right? So, but we've seen them do this over the years. So, for me, I just couldn't help, didn't overanalyze it. It just, boom. If it pops up in my head, it's like, okay, I'm going there. Okay, now why am I going there? But that's just how it felt. That was the most cringe-worthy promo from Asuka since she's been on the main roster that I've heard to date. And it just really, here's my problem. Here's my problem. I've been saying it time and time and time and time and time again. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong because I was getting ready for the show tonight. Did Nakamura make an appearance whatsoever on SmackDown? Because I'm tempted to say no, he did not. And if he did make an appearance, he didn't talk. That's the point I'm making. And for WWE, it's not that hard. I just don't understand. And I would love for someone to give me a legit argument why WWE doesn't go this route, which is, especially when you got a guy like Jim Ross there who covers New Japan on Access TV. Why are you not letting Nakamura and Asuka talk in their own respected language? And shout out to Austin. No, Nakamura, there was a vignette. Okay, so something that was pretty much shown on the Titantron, something that was already done pre-production. Am I understanding it right? Because I mean, if that's the case, then that doesn't really count, right? So I don't understand why WWE just can't have Nakamura and Asuka talk in their native language, and we just have either a combo of English subtitle running over that bad boy, but at the same time, you got to look at it from this standpoint. The English subtitle would be for those of us that's watching it at home. But what would play for the people in the arena, they would get the same thing. They would get English subtitle. So those that are close to the Titantron, they'd be able to read it with ease. But for those that's in attendance watching the Titantron, seeing what they're saying, you could easily just have an English voice actor pretty much follow up behind them, an English translator. I don't understand what in the blue hell is so hard about that. We have seen some of our most favorite martial arts films. Bruce Lee in the house right here. Big fan of Bruce Lee. Miss that guy to this day. we've seen movies where you've had English voice actors, or you've seen a Bruce Lee movie and you had English subtitle, whatnot. So it's like, what the hell? Like, why are we being lazy? And you see how New Japan has been doing it, especially when it came to just Jericho taking on Omega. You saw how they had did that. That was awesome. Now we've got, who is it, guys? Rey Mysterio, right? Who's he facing? He's a New Japan face who Jushin Thunder Liger, right? So it's like, what the hell is going on? It's frustrating. It's frustrating because I know what these characters are really capable of if you put the smart type of booking behind them. I don't think it makes sense to basically have them go out there. Well, basically, you're in America now, so you need to talk English. No, that's not really helping them. It's not making them connect to the crowd whatsoever. And what we saw of Asuka for Monday night was a good prime example of that. For all the hype, for all the buzz, for everything that Nakamura has accomplished pre WWE, he's in a position where, and I'm glad that they started to kind of scale back on Nakamura cutting promos in the ring. But you know, I'm like this: if you can't have Nakamura and Asuka go that route that I suggested, you've got to at least stop having them cut promos in the middle of the ring, because time and time and time and time again, history, more importantly, amongst a live WWE crowd has shown. If you're not talking, and is it ignorant? Yes. Is it stupid? Is it just, yes, on all fronts? I'm with you all. But we got to face reality. When you have a wrestler that is put in front of a WWE crowd in North America and their English is not all that, they sadly get heckled. Now, they might not get booed, but they get heckled. And I just don't think that's cool. I just personally don't. So I'm hoping, because 2018, it's still early as far as making New Year's resolutions. I would love to see a situation occur where we see some type of improvement with foreign WWE superstars that are having difficulty speaking the language. Now, I'm sure WWE is probably setting up really great programs, and they've got really great translators to help out talents make that transition. But until you present to me a superstar that can very fluently speak English, speak it with conviction, and deliver lines in a certain way that will result in good feedback if they're a face, good feedback if they're a heel, you got to present it that way. If it's fluent and everything is on point. So I'm hoping this new calendar year, WWE will go in that direction. But when you have them out there in front of that live crowd, it is like a seal out in the middle of an ocean and there are sharks just swimming around it. That crowd will eat them up every single time. We have seen it happen. You can just think, if you've been a long time WWE fan, you can just think about all the talents, foreign talents, English very broken, extremely limited, that wow, they got a great look. They got some potential. All right, hey, they're pretty good in the ring. And came up very flat because when it came to their English, the fans weren't having it. Now, I could maybe make an exception for frickin' Tajiri. Everybody loved Tajiri. I could also make an exception for Funaki. In my lifetime, at least. Now, maybe I'd have to go back and check out previous years of WWE footage, but just from when I started watching the WWE product, I want to say 84 on, I've got to say Funaki, Tajiri, hell, even Mr. Fuji. Those guys, they never got heckled by the crowd. Not that I can really remember. Not to the extent of where it is today. Yeah, let me make sure I stress that. Not the way it is today. Which is really unfortunate. But decent episode of Raw. SmackDown, not really much. Not really much we can dive into about SmackDown. It was a decent go home show. It looked as though Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are hinting at possibly the finger poke of doom, maybe going down this Sunday at Elimination Chamber. At one point, we had saw Kevin Owens in a backstage segment with Sami saying to Kevin Owens, "Hey, bud, look, what went down earlier tonight, it's okay. I get it. Hey, I haven't really been having your back like that, man, but it's all good. I promise you, Sunday Elimination Chamber, I am going to have your back. I want to do everything I can to make you become the WWE champion. I'm going to make it so easy for you, man. All you got to do is pin me. I will lay down for you. All you got to do is go for the pin." And that really threw Kevin Owens off. Kevin Owens very conflicted, saying, wait, what, dude? Say what? I couldn't help but look at that situation and say to myself, shades of the finger poke of doom. All right. Oh, I'm very curious now how this is going to be playing out. But I really didn't see anything from SmackDown this week that was really noteworthy. Oh, Fastlane. I'm sorry. Thank you, Austin, for correcting me. Fastlane. Yeah, their match, because it's going to be a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. Why am I thinking Austin Aries? I didn't mean to say Austin Aries. AJ Styles. I know why I was thinking Austin Aries, by the way. I actually want to talk about Impact Wrestling in a little bit. Yeah, but Fastlane on March 11th, it's going to be AJ Styles defending the WWE Championship against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in a triple threat match. So, are we going to see the return of the finger poke of doom? We'll have to wait a couple of weeks and find out. But other than that, there really wasn't anything that really made me say SmackDown. I actually liked Raw. Raw, despite it being a 3-hour show, that actually was the better show this week. I don't know how a lot of you guys feel, but I saw SmackDown too. I was kicking back, setting up the equipment, looking at SmackDown, kind of going, huh, huh, huh. I can't tell you how many times I went, huh. I kind of felt like maybe I was, damn, who's that dude? Ha, 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 ha. Whoever that dude is, I felt like him. I can't think of his freaking name right now. But I tell you what, that's probably his catchphrase when he's with a woman. I mean, right when it's about to reach that point. Ha! 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 I get almost Akira Tozawa. That's who I was picturing. That's who I was picturing. I want to give a shout out to those of you that's in the chat right now. Shout out to Gino for his contribution to the show. Appreciate that contribution, Gino. Thank you very much, man. Hope you've been doing okay. Let's see who else we got in the chat here. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Austin. Shout out to Kelton. I'm taking a look at some of the questions I see that's coming in right now via YouTube. I also want to make sure, though, everything's on point with Facebook. Give me a second here so I can check out the Facebook stream, make sure everybody is having a good time over there that's watching. And so far, everything looks good. Good. Yeah, everything looks good there. So, because you got to check, man. You got to check. You got to make sure the stream is good. Everybody's okay. Let's see here. All right, you guys are good. All right, good. All right, good. I can close that out. You guys are good. All right, so YouTube, I'm looking at some comments here. I saw a question about Nia Jax. What's going on there? Ever since Nia Jax was dominated in NXT, and she come up the main roster. She been put in the title match, but it been 2 years. She have won the WWE Championship. What? Wait a minute now. Let me clean that up for you a little bit, buddy. I haven't even had that much beer yet, and this is still my first bottle, and I am not even buzzed yet. So let me see if I can clean that up. Ever since Nia Jax, I think you're trying to say dominated in NXT, and ever since she came up the main roster, she's been put in title matches, but it's been 2 years since she's won. I guess you're trying to say any type of championship. Well, I feel that drought is gonna like finally be finito eventually. I really believe, if you're asking me for a prediction, I personally feel that Nia Jax is gonna have her time, and her time is gonna come at WrestleMania. I just felt for the longest time that the story, and for whatever respected reasons, powers that be in WWE, they did not want to pull the trigger on Nia Jax going over Alexa Bliss. And I think we all could be in agreement that Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, that's very appealing storyline wise, because here we have this little pint size blonde version of the cute Punky Brewster that's trying to do everything in her power to not fight this person that she knows if she gets in the ring with them one on one, and it's a done deal. Like, I don't even think under a DQ type of match for the title she would have a shot. She would get extremely annihilated. So she has tried to do everything in her power to befriend Nia Jax, stay on Nia's good side, especially when you combine that with Total Divas and you see how they really play. I tell you, sometimes watching Total Divas, I've never watched it, but I've heard from so many people that have told me about it over the years. Really, I don't like when they incorporate stuff in matches from Total Divas. I wish they could just continue to, and they're kind of getting a little bit better, but I wish they would just let that be its own separate entity. Don't even acknowledge it on Raw, SmackDown, NXT program, and just let that be in its own little universe itself. But it is what it is. But no, my prediction, I'm not a betting man, but if I were a betting man, I'd jump out there. I feel in my heart of hearts, Nia Jax's time is going to happen at WrestleMania. You best believe that. And if it doesn't happen by WrestleMania, I would be the first one here on that WrestleMania after show saying, okay, now what? What do you do now with Nia Jax? Because in some shape or form, yeah, it's going down. It's going down at Mania. It's definitely going down. Yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that as well. I just saw a comment about Nia Jax maybe being the champion and eventually her feuding with Asuka. Yeah, that'd be pretty damn good. That would definitely be pretty damn good. See what else we got here. I'm just backtracking a little bit to the comments here. Any questions? Yeah, I kind of agree with what Brian is saying in the chat. SmackDown really is a clone of Raw when it comes to the women. Raw has a 6-woman tag, and SmackDown they do the same thing. Yeah, it's almost like, well, Right Twix is doing this. Well, us over here at Left Twix, we need to do the same thing that Right Twix is doing. That's how it kind of is. It kind of goes back and forth like that. It's really nerve wracking, quite honestly. I don't like it one little bit. Hey, here's another thing that I thought was definitely interesting, though, which is Apollo Crews is no longer going by Cruz. Apparently, the last name was dropped. And no matter how you want to look at it, I think it's safe to say that in this instance, is WWE being a little bit too sensitive? One could make that argument, especially honestly, the young man was starting to build some type of momentum. He was starting to act, now he had a catchphrase. And I've always been saying with regards to Apollo Crews, the guy needs a catchphrase. He needs something. He's got to have like more personality, more charisma. Jump out there, give him something, please. Anything, just give him something. And now, ever since he teamed up with Titus O'Neil, we've been seeing a lot more personality from the guy. Now he's got a catchphrase. What was it? Crews can't lose. But now you're back to the drawing board. No longer going by Crews, just Apollo. I'm going, what? So, in case you guys missed it, rumblings are that because of what went down with that sick bastard in Florida, we know what his last name is. Hint, hint, hint. WWE is trying to distance themselves from that as much as humanly possible. And as a result of that, they don't want Crews, even though the last name is spelled differently from the Florida Crews. They just want to not have anything, no affiliation, just poof, let it be gone. Then on the other side, you have actor Terry Crews saying that apparently WWE had tried to work out some type of an arrangement with him to be able to use the Crews last name. So wait, you're trying to tell me that somebody in WWE took a look at Apollo Crews and said, he looks like a short, bald-head version of Terry Crews. Why not just call him Apollo Crews? If that's honestly how it went down, yeah, he does kind of look like a short miniature version of Terry Crews. Only thing missing is him just busting out of the goddamn shower going, ba 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 ba, you know, Old Spice for your funky armpits. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, that's the only thing that's freaking missing. But you hear that and you're going, that's so goddamn silly. Really, guys? This is where we're at right now. His last name, his pretend last name is spelled differently and all that. Nobody's going to be sending Apollo Crews hate emails or say you're related to that dude in Florida. Nobody's gonna say that. I really, really hope that WWE reconsiders, at least put out a flash survey, something. I think that's just a bit too damn extreme. The guy was actually starting to catch on. He finally look. I've been a fan of this guy's work before the WWE, but we could all be in agreement. His first rodeo there was very flat on the main roster. He went over to SmackDown, and it still wasn't really gelling like that, honestly. Since he's come up the main roster, what he's been doing this go round, especially with the pairing up of one Titus O'Neil, been very good. While I'm talking about Titus O'Neil, you all may want to do yourselves a favor and you might want to check your Twitter status as far as if you're continuing to follow one Titus O'Neil, because surprisingly, and I have talked to a few people about this, Titus O'Neil, for whatever respected reasons, he is blocking people on Twitter. And I've had a few conversations with people that have either sent me private messages or they've sent me emails. Hey, Titus O'Neil blocked me on Twitter. What the hell is going on? Now, for those of you that may be a little bit curious, yeah, Titus O'Neil actually did block the RCWR show on Twitter. And you know me, folks, I've always never sugarcoated stuff. Have I said some things over the years about Titus O'Neil that just made me go, what the hell? Yeah, but I've never said anything that was very degrading. I've never said anything, and that's the thing. And I can't tell you, I am aware of certain WWE superstars that check out the show, and I'll either get a private message once in a blue moon or something, but I know you got those guys that make their rounds checking out their shows. Like I said, I talked to just a couple, not that many, but there's a couple that once in a blue moon I interact with. Am I like friends with any of them? No. Hell to the no. Even if I was, I wouldn't even be boosting about that. You know, who I am friends with, that's kind of like between me and them, because that's kind of like my private life. So what I do for you guys, that's the entertainment aspect. What I do when I'm off air, that's pretty much my private life. But I first thing I did, I looked online and I'm going, okay, RCWR show, Titus O'Neil. Only thing I found, and it went back, I want to say 2013, maybe 2014. You guys remember when Titus O'Neil was doing the barfing gimmick? That's probably the only thing I ripped. And I ripped it from the standpoint of, wait a minute, you've got this good, tall, good looking, ball headed black dude, muscular as hell, looks like he should be world championship material. And you take one look at this guy, and the best thing you can think of is giving him the old draws gimmick. You give him, he's gonna puke, he's gonna puke, he's gonna puke. That's the best thing you could come up with, right? That's the best you could come up with for Titus O'Neil. That's probably the one time I was really, really vocal, and I've been very consistent over the years. If you ask me straight up my thoughts on Titus O'Neil, it's always been consistent. Decent wrestler, decent wrestler. And I sincerely mean that. As far as like a 5-star quality type of match, you're most likely never going to get that from a Titus O'Neil. I don't care who you pair him up with. However, out of 5 stars, Titus could probably give you, with the right booking, with the right encouragement, smart booking at that, Titus O'Neil could probably give you maybe 3 stars, but typically 2.5 on a really good night. You catch him on a good night where everything is aligned, you might be able to do 3.5, but 2.5, 3 stars would be the average for his matches. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. That's a lot better than half a star out of 5, right? Because that's just the drizzles. Got the charisma. I mean, as soon as you see this guy, doesn't matter if he's in his trunks and boots or if he's in a suit, a commanding appearance. I love all the great charitable work that he does outside of the WWE, everything that he does on his personal time. Love it. Love everything that he does outside of the WWE. I've always felt he was a man that, wow, what didn't click? Why didn't this guy excel to the point of a Bobby Lashley? You know, why didn't this guy get to the point of a Booker T as far as success goes? Now, some could measure out success in other types of ways, but when you really just stop and you think about Titus's tenure in the WWE, what's it really amounted to? Not outside the WWE, but what has it really amounted to when it comes to that squared circle? Not really much. And I've always been consistent by that. And I'm not going to apologize for comments that I make on my show, because this is the thing. When it comes to doing a show like this every single week, and you're being featured in wrestling outlets, websites, things of that nature, you bring on guests, you go on other people's shows, you attract certain people. You either attract people that's going to like your work, or you're going to attract people that have serious problems with some of the things that you say, and they're going to want to challenge you. And I've gotten to that point. It took me a while to realize it. And I was actually talking to Tammy literally the other day. I said, you know what this year will mark? She's like, no, what? It's like, if I'm not mistaken, this year will mark November of this year will mark 7 years that I've been on the air, that I've been doing podcasting. 7 years. And
it took me a couple of years. I finally started to just get the hang of it by year 4. But ever since year 4, it's just I'm not gonna apologize for something that I say. And when I do this, I always try to make sure that I never make it be about personally attacking someone because that's not what I'm about. That's not what this show is about. I will always keep it real when it comes to a performer's performance. That's it. I will always keep it real when it comes to the booking. Always. I will speak from those standpoints. Once in a blue moon, we all may find out about something that happened in one's personal life. Again, over the years, I've learned to try to be as very universal and sensitive when it comes to talking about whatever is currently happening with an entertainer. And now that their personal life is out in the open. And you have to be that way. You just have to be very sensitive about it because you don't know one who's watching, and then two, it's not really fair to try to be a authoritative figure and speak as though you have insider knowledge. I don't know. For me, I'm just getting to that point. I'm not going to apologize. It's like if you don't agree with something that I said, God, almost 6 years ago, that's your problem. I'm not going to apologize for it. And I tell you what, blocking people that offer constructive criticism is not the answer. It's not. Instead, it should be what it should always and has always been about. Hey, you the consumers, tell me what you like, what you don't like. That's why I got to give props to Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling, I've noticed them. They've been doing it the past couple of weeks now. Impact Wrestling has actually been putting out there a survey blast at the conclusion of each week's Impact Wrestling. And they have been asking folks, hey, what did you like about the show this week? What didn't you like? How can we improve? That's what I'm talking about. That's real engagement. Anybody can fucking go on Twitter, Instagram, and all that and post pictures and videos about some trip that they took at XYZ or whatever like that. But when it counts the most, especially if you're really serious about your growth, your career and its growth, you're gonna be depending on honestly, it doesn't even matter what industry, just the fact that you're trying to excel, you're gonna be asking people for their input. That's how it always is. That's how it always is. Seriously, man. Seriously. So I'm not gonna apologize. I'm not. I'm just at that point. Try not to take it personal because I never make it personal. Never. Never. So, other than that, we were talking about Oscar earlier. Nipple slip. I just had to say that one more time. Uh Nipple slip. No, we were talking about Fergie. Dude, I love the NBA All-Star weekend. I loved it. I loved every single minute of it. The players only, Kobe, Shaq, that oh my god. I look for you guys that are basketball fans, if you didn't get a chance to check out players only, Kobe, Shaq, one-on-one, go out of your way after you get done checking out this show. Check that out. That was actually really good. One thing that I walked away from, and I'm sure a lot of people that watched it will tell you the same thing. I never knew that Kobe Bryant came this close leaving the Los Angeles Lakers and going to go play for the Chicago Bulls. It got to the point with him and his wife, they were looking at schools in the Chicago area that they wanted to send their kids to. They were already looking at homes, all that. And basically, when Kobe got word that, hey, Shaquille O'Neal, he asked for a trade because he's not really getting the money that he wants. So he asked for a trade. Kobe's like, oh, well, shoot, there's no way in hell that they're going to let me leave now. That was the most shocking of all. And one of my friends that I work with, Marcus, and shout out to Marcus, he checks out the show from time to time. We were talking about it earlier today because it was the first time that we had saw each other since the President's Day holiday, when we were comparing notes on what we thought about the Kobe Shaq special. And when we talked about the whole Chicago thing, he is a basketball fanatic. I mean, he can tell you about a person's rebound scores, all that. He's like that. I won't say he's a guru, but he knows his stuff. And for Marcus to say, I didn't even know. It's like, Lee, I didn't even know about Kobe going to Chicago. Because I asked him, I said, did you know about this? He's like, no. It's like, I didn't know. Nobody knew about that. It's like, that was probably like the best kept secret that nobody knew about. How about that? Kobe, that close. You talk about someone that was inspired by Michael Jordan, just the way he shot the ball, mannerisms, hell, at one point the way he talked, and now you look at where he is now, he's bald just like Michael Jordan. I mean, it's like, wow, and he was that close to going to go play for the Bulls. That's just crazy in itself. But yeah, you guys got to check that out if you haven't already. That was a great special. Another thing that was awesome about All-Star Weekend, the dunk contest. I love the dunk contest, and I got to give it up for DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled, he did a fantastic job as a judge. I thought for sure he was going to come in that bad boy and he was just going to funk it up, but he was very consistent with his voting to the point I wouldn't mind DJ Khaled coming back again. That's how good of a job I thought he did. Whatever that light-skinned girl's name is, I did have it down. Y'all gonna have to help me out with that. You know what I'm talking about. That light-skinned girl that was dancing during the Neptunes performance or whatever, or Pharrell Williams. Oh my man, I ain't never seen a honey move like that before on a car. I was looking at her and I'm just going, damn, let me be that car for a few seconds. I mean, she was tearing that car up, man. But the dunk contest, loved it. Loved the dunk contest. With regards to the All-Star game itself on Sunday, that was actually competitive. At least if you look at it from the East side. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, West was beating that behind past 3 years now. East needed to get this. East needed this more than ever, but kudos to LeBron James basically leading the pack and actually giving up that competition. You know, they went in there fighting, and I loved it. I love how they did this whole voting system. I loved how they worked with Adam Silver to really get this rolling. Everything just worked because last year was just what the hell. And everybody remembers how frustrated Reggie Miller was on commentating when he was talking about last year's All-Star game. I mean, the scoring for that one was just ridiculous. Now, we already know it's going to be a high-scoring game, but come on, let there be some type of competition. Put in some type of defense. And with the All-Star game that we got this year, I will admit there was a decent amount of contested shots. There was a decent amount of blocking. The East really went in there with something to prove. West, it just really seemed like they were kind of somewhat taking the night off. Who's the guy that didn't play for the West, for the Team West? I guess because he had got drunk the night before. Caron Butler, don't quote me on that, but the guy logged in 0 minutes. He didn't even play. He just was like, hey, I want to sit this one out. And then you got freaking oh, I can't think of the Stephen Curry. You got him kicking back, eating freaking popcorn. I couldn't help but go, oh, so it's one of those nights. It's one of those nights where we just don't give a damn. We don't give a damn tonight. Okay, I whatever. But it was a really good competitive game. I would have to admit that. I enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to next year. I hope that they bring All-Star Weekend back to DC. I had the opportunity to go some years back, and I was slammed with work. I couldn't go. I'm really, really keeping my fingers crossed and hoping that sometime in the next 5 years they bring it on back, because that's definitely an event. Jimmy Butler, thanks, Kelton. Yeah, Jimmy Butler, he logged in 0 minutes. Like, what the hell, man? If you weren't going to play, you should have just coughed that joint up and let somebody else get in there that definitely would have played. What kind of crap is that, man? But yeah, I'm hoping that they bring it back to the DMV sometime in the next 5 years, because I would love to go. I would also just love to be in a position where I could maybe cover the event as part of the press. You know what I'm saying? It could very well happen, man. Hey, I want to take this time out to let you guys know that tonight's edition of the RCWR show with Lee Sanders is brought to you in part by my good friends over at the Flicks for Kicks podcast. Let me ask you, do you love movies? Do you love comedy? Do you love improv? Well, if you love a combination of all of those things, even more the reason why you need to check out my good friends over at the Flicks for Kicks podcast. The way their show works is they take a lot of original ideas pitched to them by the fans as far as maybe what movies they should cover, something that they should improv, and the whole show, it's nothing but improv. Again, if you like comedy, you like improv, you like movies, these guys do a really good job in combining all of those things. They're a new podcast that just launched not too long ago. Checked out a little bit of their stuff, and I must say I like what I'm seeing from them so far. Got a lot of potential. Need to improve in a couple of areas, but I'm definitely loving what I'm seeing of them off the break. So I definitely would encourage you all to check them out. They're on Twitter if you want to give them a follow. That is at Flicks for Kicks Pod. That's Flicks for the actual number 4 Kicks Pod. Twitter at Flicks for Kicks Pod. They got shows available on iTunes, and they are also on YouTube as well. So look them up. Really appreciate them being a in part sponsor here for this edition of the RCWR show. Let's continue on, man. We got a couple of more headlines to get into. So we asked you guys literally Monday, what did you make of Jeff Jarrett going into the WWE Hall of Fame? Were you for it? Were you against it? Wanted to know what you guys had thought about that. To the polls we go now, as it stands tonight. The question we asked you all on YouTube: with the news of Jeff Jarrett going into the WWE Hall of Fame officially, do you feel he is Hall of Fame worthy? Be honest. As it stands, we have 63 votes in right now. 41% of you said no, hell no. There's more worthy people that should go in. And I'll make sure I read this comment from one Phoenix Star who said, no, hell no. There's more worthy people that should go in. Undertaker, The Rock, Owen Hart, British Bulldog, China, Miss Elizabeth, etc. 59% of you that have voted so far are saying yes for everything he's done for the biz. I said down, but it's actually DONE, not down. For everything he's done for the biz, he deserves to go in. That's standing at 59%. So almost divided, almost, but a slight lead for those that said yes. And I told you how conflicted I felt with the rumblings just last week. And now we go into this week, and it is now official. Jeff Jarrett revealing in interviews he's given since the announcement that WWE had approached him as far back as just last month in January. And he didn't even think twice about it. He was like, yes, I don't need to think twice. Yes, I'll do it. And when you think about the body of work of Jeff Jarrett, you look at just the overall body of work, the different promotions that he's worked for. Some of those promotions pretty much was under his dad, and he pretty much was able to kind of acquire it along with his dad. But when you look at all the promotions that he's worked for, all the different championships across many promotions that he's wrestled in, he does have a really impressive resume. There's no denying that. But sadly, when you compare it to other stars, we don't need to go over names. We don't. It doesn't need to be, because I already know this is probably like the big talk on a lot of shows this week. We don't need no drawn out list of other names. We all can quietly make a list of about 10 names off the break that we feel should go in before Jeff Jarrett. And should those people go in before Jeff? Yes. But it is what it is. So, 20 years. And Jeff Jarrett is now back in good graces with the WWE. That says to me that anything is humanly possible. I'm looking at you, CM Punk. I am looking at you, CM Punk. Anything is possible. Anything. If Warrior can make amends, if Bruno Sammartino can make amends, if the Poffo family, whatever discrepancies there might have been over the years, if they can squash whatever and come together, if Goldberg, right? If WWE can squash things with Goldberg and bring Goldberg into the mix. Hey, you thought we were never going to get a hold of Sting? Well, we finally had the stars align just right. And here he is. Here's the man. Here's the icon. The Hulkster. He's had his problems with WWE over the years. And we know about what led him to ultimately leaving the WWE. Well, not leaving, but being fired from the WWE this go round. He's going to be back. He's going to be back again. All of these beefs, or whatever you want to call it, discrepancies, issues that went down with certain stars many years back, it definitely gives me hope that, hey, one day we will see our favorites go in. Why it's taking so long? Now, if there was ever a Stone Cold podcast, I wish Steve Austin would have asked Vince McMahon that question. What is up with cats like Miss Elizabeth, Owen Hart, British Bulldog, Luna Vachon, China? I just got to say China again. What's going on with these individuals going into the WWE Hall of Fame? Why hasn't it happened yet? What the hell is going on? What's taking so damn long? I'd love to know. I would really, really love to know. But, kind of getting back on track a little bit, you look at the overall body of work and you're saying, yeah, Jeff, he's Hall of Fame worthy, but should he be going in right now? No. And I'll give Jeff Jarrett a lot of credit. In some of the recent interviews that he's given, he realizes that there are other people that should be going in way before him. He realizes that. But this opportunity presented itself, and now it's history. It's officially in the books. But I must admit, I didn't like the video package that we had got from Monday Night Raw, because the package that we got for Jeff Jarrett, it basically was Double J. Ain't that great? Hey folks, how you doing? Jeff Jarrett here. That's JEFFJARRETT. Jeff Jarrett. I'm on my way to Nashville. Gonna cut me a brand new single out with my baby tonight. That's gonna be followed up by Shooting a Hound Dog coming around the corner. I'm just remembering all of those and the damn Nashville music in the background. I'm just remembering all that. And I can remember being a kid going, wow, this is so corny. I hate this dude. What the hell? And then when we finally see him in the WWE, oh man, get this guy off my damn TV. What the hell? This is a freaking joke. He could wrestle though. I definitely could. I'll definitely give. He could wrestle. And I remember when I got older, I was a teenager. I started looking at all the stuff that he did before the WWE. Remember when he used to come out to "Simply Irresistible" by Robert Palmer? I was like, oh, I was like, okay, that's what's up. I that era, Jeff Jarrett, I could watch that guy for some hours. He put on some damn good matches. I don't know which promotions it was in because man, I was a teenager when I got like this big old compilation. I went to Best Buy one day, and anybody can back me up on this. There used to be a time where you could go into Best Buy and you could find some really bomb ass wrestling DVDs from other promotions. That's how I got hip to WEW. What else? What else did I get hooked up to? So many other I can't think of them offhand, but WEW, Women's Extreme Wrestling, that was definitely one of the promotions I remember. But you also had these compilations like the Best of Jeff Jarrett, Best of Jerry the King Lawler, all different types of compilations. And like you could only find these, far as I was aware, you could only find these type of compilations at Best Buy. And they would have them for like a really damn good deal. They would charge you like $5 or max 10. So just imagine just walking in that giant and you just got your allowance or whatever, or or you got paid and you're going, hey, I've got like $50 I want to burn. What's up? And you just walk out that motherfucker, hold a big old stack of wrestling DVDs. That's how it was back then. Actually, now that I think about it, Circuit City, they're now defunct, but Circuit City, they actually were doing the same thing as Best Buy as well. And that's how I really had begun to have an appreciation for the older stuff that Jeff Jarrett did in promotions before the WWE. But I keep seeing the running gag. Crashed X amount of people over the head with a guitar, never drew a dime. There were definitely some questionable things you could look at in his career, some personal stuff outside of the ring, and you go, wow, so this guy becomes Hall of Fame worthy. So he goes through a WWE sponsored rehab, and I guess that pretty much had got the ball rolling, so to speak. I can't really help but wonder. I'm looking at it from this angle. Stay with me, folks. If WWE made a haste decision in putting him in the WWE Hall of Fame, obviously there's going to be some type of a working relationship between WWE and Jarrett in the coming months, if not maybe for a couple of years to come. But given everything that this man has been going through recently, just like with what I said here on this very show with regards to Justin Credible, just like what I've said in my praise for the great turnaround that Mike Kanellis has been able to do with himself and his sobriety, being clean from drugs. I say the same thing with Jeff Jarrett. Okay, that's great that you were at a rehab facility for what was it, 2-3 weeks or whatnot, but it doesn't mean that it's over. You still have to string it all together, and the seconds turn into minutes, the minutes turn into hours, those hours turn into a day, leads into days, that leads into weeks, that leads into months, that leads into years. So I just really hope that Jeff Jarrett has a really good, strong support system that's there in place, and he is surrounded by nothing but positivity. I've been a firm believer in that, which is if you have something that is negatively harboring your life, it's going to bring you down and you're not going to be able to focus. You're not going to be able to do what you need to do. And as a result of that, you're not going to really succeed in life. So, whatever that negative entity is, or that negativity that could be coming from an individual or a group of people, you got to just really break away from that. break away from those habits, break away from that mentality. I kind of feel as though he does have a good support system in place. But I just can't help but wonder if WWE is overdoing it. Only time will tell. Only time will tell, man. But I really hope this doesn't come back to blow up in the WWE's face. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, I'm with Kelton. Maybe a deal was made for sure. Yeah. And that's the way Jarrett got in. It's possible. It is very well possible. We won't really know until, who knows? Maybe I need to be asking those type of questions. We had Jeff Jarrett on the show before. Maybe we can make lightning strike twice again. Who knows? Wouldn't hurt. But I don't know if you guys had saw it, but I put a tweet out and I basically had said, hey, Jeff Jarrett, that's great that you and WWE were able to squash whatever discrepancies, whatever beef, let bygones be bygones. That's good. That's good because life is precious. Matter of fact, let me read to you all the direct tweet that I said, because when you really stop and you think about what I had said, it makes a lot of sense. And this wasn't a situation where I flip-flopped or anything like that. Yeah, it wasn't a situation where I was flip-flopping or anything like that. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick, because I thought what I said was really, really good. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Where are we? Should be coming up soon. No, that ain't it. I almost got it, guys. Bear with me a few more seconds here. I almost got it. I said, congrats, man. Glad you and WWE were able to officially kiss and make up. Time is a precious commodity, and tomorrow isn't a guarantee. Looking forward to hearing the speech. And I mean that. Now, if you ask me straight up, Lee, do you still feel that Jeff Jarrett should not be in the Hall of Fame? Based off the video package that we had got, and it kind of goes back to what I had said Monday when I first broke the news. If we're gonna just his whole entire body of work and the significant contributions that he's made and TNA, GFW, okay. But Double J, Jeff Jarrett, come on, man. So I'm hoping that with the speech, they'll really allow him to say what he's able to say. For me, that video package that they had showed and they put in the Kofi Kings, nah, you know what? It would have meant a lot more if they would have had guys such as AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe. It really would have been more impactful, no pun intended, if we would have heard from those guys. But if you were to tell me, Lee, the video package that they're going to run for Jeff Jarrett, they're going to mention everything, even TNA, they're going to mention all that, and how if it wasn't for TNA, guys like AJ Styles and blah this and blah that, I'd say, okay, I'm down with that. But just as it stands right now, let's just say for the sake of the argument, no, Lee, WWE, the video package, they do put all that in there. Would you say he goes in? No. He would not go in over the other people that should definitely be going in before him. And for me, in my book, because of some of the personal issues, and I'm not going to run all that down. I'm not going to, because I don't want it to come off like I'm smearing the guy, because I respect everything he's done for the business, but this ain't no smear campaign. There are just some things that he's done over the years that just made me scratch my head and go, what the hell? The gold Ponzi scheme comes to mind. The situation with Karen Jarrett. Those are the two just off the break. I mean, I could continue on and on and on, but nah, man, but see, some people would say, but that's a personal. You're talking about what's going on kind of outside of the ring. Well, what went down with the whole gold Ponzi scheme, he was trying to fund GFW through that. He was trying to bribe fans into getting into stuff like, no, I'm looking at certain things like that and some others. No. Remember what I said the other day? If I hesitate as far as whether or not they should be in the Hall of Fame, they're not going in my Hall of Fame. I should be able to look at a guy. You all should be able to throw a name out there at me. If you say Lee, Rhino, I say Rhino, Hall of Fame. Lee, John Cena, boom, Hall of Fame. If you say Lee, Hornswoggle, no Hall of Fame. Lee, what about a guy like, I don't know. What about a guy like Drew McIntyre? If I have to even hesitate, and I mentioned Drew McIntyre because he got the Hall of Fame induction. What was it, from ICW? Was it last week or a couple of weeks ago? I can look at a guy like them and be like, Lee, what about Seth Rollins? Is Seth Rollins a future WWE Hall of Famer? If I have to hesitate, you're not going in my Hall of Fame. That's just how I roll. To each its own, but that's just how I'm rolling, man. Let's see here. What else we got going on here, man? What else we got going on here? Yeah, hey, I want to give you guys a heads up. If you're not really feeling what's going on with the whole Olympics, if you're kind of like me, oh man, the Olympics is on. I want to watch my news, or I want to watch this, or I want to watch that, and you just need a break from the Olympics. If you got your video games, your favorite streaming platforms, and all that good stuff, I got a few ideas for you all. Now, look, every Tuesday night on the CW, one of my favorite hit shows, Black Lightning. Check that out, especially for you all that are high off of Black Panther. Don't even get me started on Black Panther. I haven't seen it yet. I'm probably going to end up seeing it maybe tomorrow or Thursday. I'll be checking it out. But just some of the craziness talk. I'll just highlight segregation when it comes to Black Panther, and I'll just leave it at that. It's stupid. It's downright stupid. But for those of you that's high off of seeing Black Panther and you ain't checked out Black Lightning yet, that'll whet your appetite for a little bit until you get ready for more Luke Cage, more Punisher, all that good stuff. But hey, some good stuff that's on Blu-ray, games, and streaming right now. You got Thor Ragnarok, that's available video on demand. You got Doctor Who, Twice Upon a Time, Mom and Dad, An Actor's Revenge, The Hero. You've got The Station, that's available on PC, PS4, Xbox One. Old Man's Journey, that's available on Switch. Run Dorothy Run, that's available on PS4. Towels is available on PS4, Xbox One. Symmetry is available on PS4, Xbox One. Deadbolt is available on PS4 right now. Metal Gear Survive, that's available for all the platforms except Nintendo Switch. Armored Warfare, PS4 only. Sword Art Online, Fatal Bullet, Xbox One, PS4. Space Hulk, Ascension, Xbox One. Zenon Valkyrie, that's available for PS4 and Xbox One. Apex Construct, PSVR. Abu Kashin, PS4, Xbox One. Rad Rogers World 1, PS4, Xbox One. Layers of Fear Legacy, that's available on Switch only. Also, Typo Man Revised, Switch. Fable Fortune, PC, Xbox One. Pass Cure, Xbox One, PS4, and PC. And Toki Tori 2, that is available on Switch. A lot more stuff that's going to be coming out later this week as far as entertainment goes, but that should get you started, quite honestly. Hey, you know, over the weekend, somewhat of a sad anniversary. 25 years since the passing of Kerry Von Erich. Kerry Von Erich, I'm not sure how many of you all remember him, but I definitely remember the young man. Died at the age of what was it, 33? He died at the age of 33 in 1993, February 18th of 1993. He shot himself in the heart. He committed suicide. And you just looked at what had came about with his career early on, working with his father in world-class championship wrestling. And we all know when you think about the Von Erichs back in the promotion during that time, you think about their infamous rivalry with the Freebirds. But out of the Von Erich family, Kerry Von Erich, he just had that great look, great physique, good looking face, had that long, brown, puffy, kind of curly hair. All the ladies loved the Von Erichs, but that was definitely the one that they gravitated towards the most. I mean, when I really stop and look at him, he almost kind of reminded me of a younger Ultimate Warrior's younger brother, just no makeup and all that. And over the years, it kind of made me wonder, in the alternate universe, how would he have done the Ultimate Warrior gimmick? I think there's only one, of course, Jim Hellwig, but you can't help it when you look back on Kerry Von Erich. You can't help but wonder, how would he have, could he have rocked it? But won various championships across many promotions, at least over 40 championships he won, stretched across different promotions, different territories. Career looked very promising for him. Had a decent run as a intercontinental champion in the WWF. He pretty much was there, if I remember it right. I want to say he was there from, was he there from like 89 to 92? I want to say maybe 89, 92. It seems like 89 and 92. He was probably there feuding for the Intercontinental title. And then eventually he had left the WWE. He left. They didn't fire him. He left. He just was not really feeling the way that he was booked. He felt that he should have been much higher up in the card. You got to remember, this guy, right before he signed with the WWF at the time, it's E. I'm used to saying E, but it's nice when I talk like this about old days. It's nice to just say WWF and everybody knows what I mean. But there was that motorcycle accident that he had. And when that motorcycle accident had went down, that pretty much was the beginning of the downward spiral for this man. And this motorcycle accident that he was in, I have to sneeze, I think. Oh my God. Sorry about that, guys. Allergies are kicking my ass tonight. It's actually about probably 60 degrees by now. It was nice and warm earlier out here in the DMV, but not to get sidetracked. Kerry Von Erich was in this really bad motorcycle accident going back, I want to say 86. And that motorcycle accident was so bad, he came pretty close to having his foot amputated, but they managed to save it. And all he had to do was just let the healing process take its course. And he prematurely tried to force rehab, tried to force himself to walk on that bad foot, that surgically repaired foot, broke it so bad they had no choice but to amputate it. And despite that, he continued to wrestle. He was on a prosthetic and nobody really knew about it. Now, Roddy Piper would say years later that him and Kerry, they had got so close that he was one of very, very few people that knew about that, because Kerry was the type of person who was, honestly, and it's understandable, he was so guarded. I won't say insecure. He was just so guarded, I think, from the standpoint of how he potentially was going to be received by others that saw he had a disability, that when he would go and take showers, he would actually have his boots on. It's like, wait a minute, who the hell takes a shower in their boots? What the hell kind of crap is that? But that's how he rolled. And, one can make the argument that that motorcycle accident was the beginning of the end, because during that time, Marriage wasn't really going right. So you got that going on. And then you think about his two other brothers that he lost. So at this point, he's kind of going, you know what? Actually, no, three. I almost forgot. It was three brothers that died before he took his life. And he basically was, if I remember it right, Bret Hart. Bret Hart had said in his biography that he talked to Kerry months before Kerry committed suicide, and how Kerry basically was saying, "Hey, honestly, I think my time is up. I think I'm gonna kill myself. Yeah, my brothers, I can feel them. They're calling to me." And Brett tried to talk that man down, but it's sad. It's very tragic when you really stop and think about it, because you can't help but wonder, if you remember your wrestling like that from way back then, you can't help but wonder what could have been if it wasn't for the motorcycle accident. Could that have been a situation where Kerry Von Erich could have found himself in a very interesting time during the 90s? Because remember, right after he rolled out of the WWE, and then you think about when he committed suicide, 1993, right? So no Attitude Era yet. You can't help but wonder, if it wasn't for the motorcycle accident, would he have mentally been okay despite whatever was going on with his personal relationships? Could he have just, hey, I've got my wrestling, I'll continue to thrive, I'll continue to be okay, hang on just a little bit longer, and then boom, there you go. You've got WCW coming in there with Eric Bischoff at the helm. You can't help but wonder if Kerry would have been a big star in WCW, or if he would have been able to get with the times and thrive very well during the Attitude Era for the WWE. It's just one of the things we'll never really know. We can come up with all kinds of theories all we want, but I remember one of my favorite shows from way back then in the early mid 90s, A Current Affair. And I remember they did, over the years, they had did great pieces just talking about the Von Erich family. And when his death had came about, A Current Affair, they were all over it. If my memory even serves right, I'm pulling cobwebs here, but I want to say there was an edition of, if not A Current Affair, maybe Inside Edition, where they had talked with the dad, Fritz Von Erich. And that was just emotional to watch. I like watched that thing once, and I just walked away feeling so goddamn depressed, but at the same time, just really walking away appreciating life a lot more. It's all around sad story, but it's hard to believe 25 years since the death of Kerry Von Erich. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I see that our girls Mandy Rose and Bianca Belair, they had a little bit of fun on social media. I don't know if you guys had checked this out, but this is actually pretty freaking hilarious. And I would suspect that there's probably going to be some type of a future match. I don't know, maybe Goldust and Mandy Rose are going to make a little cameo on NXT, or if maybe Bianca will get called up to the main roster. Who knows? Honestly, that would be kind of nice if that did go down. But okay, so if you guys had missed it, I know I did. Apparently, at one point during the main event match on Raw, Mandy Rose actually had took her hair and whipped the hell out of her opponent with it. And this had made a lot of people say, "Hey, that's foul. Bianca Belair does that. She's the like originator of that. What the hell, man? Why are you jacking somebody?" And word eventually had got back to Bianca Belair. And like I said, these two had some nice fun on social media. So you have it kick off at WWE. Mandy Rose. This is Goddess, the year of the bliss. See, so she says on Twitter, At Mandy Rose whipping her hair, but that ain't got nothing on Bianca Belair. So Bianca Belair comes in and says, so many people try and imitate what we do. Well, eventually Bianca takes it a step further. She says, you're not me. You never will be me. The hair whip is mine. Have a seat. Matter of fact, have several seats. Mandy Rose eventually came on back and said, honey, trust me, I don't need to buy a fake piece of hair to use as a weapon. It's called a hair flip. Chill out there, toots. Bianca comes right back. Fake, you know all about being fake. I'm more real than you will ever be. You walked right into that one. I'm just eating my popcorn going, give me more, please. Maddie comes right back. Ha, so original. You're right. And I look damn good. Yes, you do. Both of you all look good. We all win. You both look good. You had your 5 minutes of relevancy. You're welcome. I'm gonna go back to making history, and you go do what you do. A hair flip. Kind of has a little bit of a Triple H vibe to it, don't it, Booker T? Go ahead, Booker. Do that little thing you do. Do that little spin-a-rooney thing you do, Booker. Here's $10, Booker. Go get my luggage. Be my chauffeur, Booker. Mandy Rose kind of pulling a little Triple H there. I'm loving this. Mandy comes right back. See, where does well no. Yeah, Mandy's like exactly because somebody said Mandy is on the main roster and is about to make history on Sunday, and Bianca is still irrelevant and in NXT. You've got Mandy saying exactly. Then we get Paige. Paige jumps in. Yikes, what's up, new girl? At Mandy Rose, keep your hair flipping, girl. And we have Goldust. Goldust gets in this bad boy. I'm sorry you have to listen to the jealous people. I'll get my staff on it. Who is this Bianca girl? The golden goddess takes this one easy. As a matter of fact, Bianca, my hair flip is better than yours too. Sit down and learn something. And this pretty much ends with Montez Ford, who says, look at Goldust standing up for his Terry. Reminds me of the Attitude Era days. It's spelled Bianca. So either you disrespectful or spell check may not be in that Nakia of yours. And you know where to find me. Grinding at the Performance Center. Goldust had the last word. Hey, Montez Ford, WWE, just kidding with you and Bianca Belair, pal. But I'm serious when I say rose gold with the golden goddess and her golden hair flip are what's cooking. I loved it. I freaking loved it. It's nice seeing entertaining stuff like this. Whether it's, in this case, I don't feel it was manufactured, because I'm sure you guys have heard it by now. WWE pays their talent X amount of money to go on their social media pages, say certain things, basically get people talking. I think this was a case where it was not manufactured. I think this was just organic. It was playful, organic. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if when it comes to Bianca Belair and Mandy Rose, if they're the bestie of friends that a lot of people just don't know about. And it's honestly, it's awesome to see stuff like this, because considering what we had got 2 weeks ago with Corey Graves and Booker T, I like seeing stuff like this. I love hearing stuff like this. I'd love to see more of these young up and coming talents that's in the WWE, in particular at the Performance Center, have a little bit of fun like this. Creativity at its finest, especially when it comes to drawing the line of suspension and disbelief. Love it. Freaking love it. Both are fine as hell, though. I must say, if I had to pick one, please don't make me choose one. That's real fucking tough, man. That is real tough. Yeah, you got me. Rare, I'm speechless. You got me. It's hard for me to choose. All right, see what else we got. We got that much showtime left. See what else I want to get into. Oh yeah. We're speaking of hot girls. You single guys out there, Alicia Fox has a message for you all. She had took to Instagram and she basically had revealed that she's single again. Whoever it was that she was dating was acting like biatch. Those were her words when you read her little Instagram post. And she had a really nice, very nice, seductive photo of herself. So she is out there on the market again. So for you guys that got that good game, you catfishing right now, you might have some well, yeah, best of luck to you. You might have an opportunity there, man. You might have an opportunity there. Also, and a little bit of sad news, but hopefully, and I'm kind of getting the impression everything was found out early. LuFisto, veteran wrestler LuFisto, loved this girl tremendously. I've always looked at her and been like, "Oh, can we get her in the WWE? Can we get her in the WWE?" She revealed on social media that she has cervical cancer, and she pretty much had revealed this news, I want to say on her 37th or 38th birthday. She had revealed it, and you just go, "Oh man, that is like so freaking sad. That's like really fucking sad to hear." And she had posted a nice, it wasn't a long message at all. I definitely would love to go ahead and read it to you guys here. Let me just pull this up real quick. Let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, here we go. How long is this? Doesn't really come off. Doesn't really come off that long. Yeah, well, let me see. I'll go ahead and I'll read it to you guys. So she says as follows: I've been debating if this is something I should share. I don't even know if this is the right time to do. Not many know, but I've been struggling with heavy depression for over a year now. I'm on medication, and the anxiety, sadness, and pain has been so heavy that I also developed IBS. I also gained a lot of weight. For those of you who are talking, hey, did you see LuFisto is fat again? Well, that is the reason. I might get into this subject on how I got here in the future, but not right now. I'm not writing this piece for this reason. After my posts about my 38th birthday today, my friends and fans reached out because they are wondering what is wrong. A lot of my fans have shown support, and I've always said that I would have quit a long time ago if it wasn't for them, and that remains true more than ever. Therefore, although I am a very private person, I feel that I need to be totally honest with you, the people who have supported me for all these years, family and friends. The main reason why I've been feeling like crap is because I need to talk about it and I don't feel right hiding something. So here it is. I have cervical cancer. They found the cells last week and I need to get a surgery to remove them. Not the burning thing, a surgery. Although it's not a big procedure for now, I still have to go under the knife, and honestly, I'm not too thrilled about it. I know I've been distant to family and friends, and I feel I haven't been as productive anywhere because I'm too much in my head. The cells being very close to the urethus, so they also need to take samples to check if the disease did not get in there. Today, I was also told that my insurance was not covering the whole procedure and it is way too overpriced for something that is supposed to be simple. It is probably the Canadian in me that can't understand why people's wealth is treated the same way as if you would buy a used car in the United States. I'm extremely upset at this point. I don't even know what will happen. That's pretty understandable. I'm not trying to get answers from the hospital about the costs and options, but I keep getting no answers. We will call you back. They never do. When they did, they didn't even have the right information. Also, if they find bad cells in the uterus, I apologize, guys. I try to blow it up, but it's extremely small. It's not my phone that's the issue here. It's just I can't blow this up. Well, wait a minute. Maybe I can do. Maybe I can. Well, that solved my issue. All right. So now I can really read it good here. Sorry about that, guys. Also, see if they find bad cells in the uterus, I would need a full his. Oh, I know this word, hysterectomy. Yeah, to prevent the disease to spread anywhere else. Not that I want to get into the vagina too much, but hysterectomy means they will remove everything on the inside if you don't know the medical term. God damn. So I wonder if most likely this would affect having kids. Just a educated guess that as far as having kids, the heart defect, stroke, the injuries, the hard work that doesn't pay off, the depressions, the IBS, and now this. Some people close and far have been through way worse, and I don't want to complain while there are people losing loved one and people getting shot at schools, which is despicable and really kills all the faith I have in the human race. I'm just so tired and frustrated too. Anyway, these are the facts and where I'm at now. Apparently, recovery is no longer than 2 weeks, so I shouldn't miss any shows as I'm trying to work things out. So the surgery happens on a week I already took off. That is, if I can get the surgery, if there is a way to lower the cost. Hopefully, I will get some answers soon. If for some reasons this situation would affect my performances, my availability to you all, or my mood and patience, please forgive me. God bless and see you at Nova Pro and Glory Pro this weekend. LuFisto. She posted that on February 15th. I mean, that is just honestly, my heart goes out to LuFisto. LuFisto, I've been a fan of hers for many years, so much so. There was a couple of years there where I actually had tried to get LuFisto on the show, and we couldn't work out the right type of schedule because homegirl, that's the one thing about LuFisto, and anybody that knows about LuFisto, she's always working a show somewhere. And that was always an issue for us. Was she was down, but it was just a matter of trying to figure out when to actually do it. And I remember at one point, I want to say I was following her on Facebook. I'm not really sure if she was following me. And I remember I had reached out to her and asked her, "Hey, you said to hit you up around this time. How's things looking now?" And I could kind of tell she really did not want to be bothered with. Something seemed off about her. She didn't seem like her joyful, pleasant self from the previous exchanges that I had with her, corresponding via email. This go round, it was just we were direct messaging each other. And I just kind of said, okay, well, let me let that be. And you fast forward a couple of years later, and I can only imagine the type of stress that she's going through, especially from the financial standpoint. But to LuFisto, I would say don't lose hope. Don't lose sight of this surgery that you need. And if you haven't already thought of it already, hopefully a fan has. Hell, I'd be willing to set it up if necessary pro bono. I don't want nothing, no name recognition or anything, but set up a GoFundMe, set up a Kickstarter, and get the money that way. I'm quite sure guys like Jericho, Steve Austin, as soon as they would get wind of this, that they would be more than happy and more than willing to share the news with their fans from their respected shows. And not only on top of that, but make a contribution as well. That's the one thing I've always admired about the wrestling community is, especially now that you have all these different social media platforms that's out there, especially when it comes to crowdfunding of all types. When it comes to something really worthy, wrestling fans know how to come together. Podcasters, everybody just knows how to come together for a noble cause. I've seen and I've experienced, because I was part of it myself. We all came together for Scott Hall. We all came together for Jake the Snake Roberts, right? So we all came together for Kamala. There's been so many instances where we've come together over the years to lend a helping hand. I don't see why we wouldn't do it for LuFisto, especially a young woman. Though she might be 38, that's still young. She still has a lot that she could contribute to the business, at least, especially if she stays healthy. Her style's on point. Her style's on point, meaning she kind of slows it down with the times, be a little bit more conservative, think a little bit smarter as far as performing in the ring goes. She could probably make it an additional 7, 8 years if she wants, maybe even 10. It just depends on how long she thinks she wants to do it. But my heart, nothing but thoughts, prayers, most importantly, resolution for LuFisto during what is without a doubt a dark period right now. And especially with what all she had just said, all the craziness that we see that's going on in the world today. Yeah, it can be really depressing and really make you feel as though, should I even be in this country? Or take it a step further, all this ugliness that's going on in our society and human beings treating human beings in this type of fashion. Well, I don't really want to be living in this world. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many people are looking at some of the craziness that's going on. And I work in market research, and one of the main things that I have been seeing as of late, it's one project I've been working on. There is, what's the right word I'm looking for? Part of my work, I'm analyzing information from respondents, and I'm trying to figure out if they have the right mindset, the right personality to be incorporated in whatever type of focus group we're trying to organize. So, as I'm analyzing this data, sometimes I'll come across a respondent that has a lot of potential, but I may need to pick their brain a little bit. And one of the ways we pick their brain, we're kind of like acting like a therapist. We ask them an open-ended question just to pick their brain a little bit. And there's been this one question I've been asking people the past couple of weeks, which is, if you could do a speech about anything in the world, what would it be about and why? And one of the main themes that I keep seeing that just keeps popping up over and over and over again from people is self-respect. It really seems like there's not enough self-respect going around. There's not enough respect being put out there towards others, even when you disagree with somebody and their opinion. There is a respectful way that you can go about disagreeing with people, just showing that respect, giving it, paying it forward. It's really been a main theme I've been seeing. Also, self accountability. Don't blame everybody else. Take accountability for your own actions, be it good or be it bad. A lot of people have been saying there's just a lot of finger pointing that's been going around, and they're getting a little bit sick and tired of that. It's like everybody else is to blame, but not the source itself. Yeah, I could totally understand where her mindset is coming from, but speedy recovery. I really hope that if it hasn't been done already, somebody has created a crowdfunding journey. I don't know. Maybe on my way to work tomorrow, I will personally message her and see how that's been coming about. Other than that, let's see. I got into everything except for two topics. Let me see how we're doing on Showtime here. 2 hours and 12 minutes. Do I want to get into this other topic or do I want to save it for next week? I think I'm gonna go on ahead and I'm gonna save. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna save these two topics for. Well, let me think. Let me think. If I get into this now, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and get into this. I'll end it on this note. Let's talk some more sports for a second. So I know there's some folks that's curious my thoughts on what's been going on with the Washington Redskins and Kirk Cousins. It's not looking good, man. This is just, is it crazy what's going on? Yes, it is. Because the Redskins, they are facing a really tough, a really difficult decision with regards to Kirk Cousins. Either they tag him for a third consecutive year, or they go on ahead and they transition him to a long-term deal. The decision making begins now. It's already started, and they pretty much got until March 6th to make up their mind if they're going to tag him or if they're going to give him that transitional contract. Now, the new league year for the NFL, it begins 4 p.m. Eastern on March 14th. So you see, you hear about this, and it's kind of like, well, what are the options? Well, first off, why should the Redskins tag Kirk Cousins? They tag him because they want to trade him. And you got to remember, they already had got Alex Smith back in January, but that's not going to be official until March 14th, assuming everything goes right. Another thing that you got to look at is Redskins gave up a third round pick, plus they coughed up their corner, Kendall Fuller, just to get Alex Smith. So safe to say this is a done deal unless otherwise. Now, if Kirk leaves via free agency, his deal could be worth an estimated $30 million a year. So that's really good money right there. Now, if they franchise tag the Redskins, that is, if they franchise tag Kirk Cousins, it would have to be an exclusive tag, meaning that no teams could negotiate with Cousins whatsoever. No trades would be made. This makes trades extremely difficult if he gets hit with this. And his price tag, that could bring it to about $28.8 million. Now, if all this were to occur, Kirk Cousins could be in a position where he did not have to sign a tender. And if he did not sign the tender, then it could ultimately lead in an offer from another team. This would make Washington lose him for no compensation. That's the key thing. They would lose him for no compensation unless they match the offer. Something else you got to consider with regards to this news is if the Redskins hit Kirk Cousins with another franchise tag, Kirk would be well within his right to file a grievance, because you can't just keep being stringed along like this as far as the collective bargaining agreement goes for the NFL and all that. This would be ugly if the Redskins tagged him once again. Now, if they do try to hit him with that, they try to tag him, he's probably going to be looking at making about close to $35 million for that year. So he's going to eat a nice, good chunk off of the Redskins cap. So it's kind of like, is it really worth it for the Redskins? They had lost Pierre Garçon, a couple of other cats from last season, just to try to continue rendering the services of Cousins. very difficult position that they're in right now. I hope that the right thing is done and Redskins, they just let this guy go and they can try to recoup on some of their money, but that's the nation's capital, folks. Craziness at its finest that we have going on over here. That's why I follow what's going on with them, but they aren't my team. But if you want to pick my brain and get my thoughts on them, I, I can talk Redskins, but that's what's going on with them. The drama continues. Drama continues. If you ask me though, where do I think Kirk will end up? It's a tough call, man. You got Jets saying they're willing to pay whatever it takes to get him. You got the Cleveland Browns. They're willing to cough up X amount of money to get him. You've got Von Miller over with the Denver Broncos. He's trying hard to see if something can be done, try to get that joint rolling for Kirk. So I think you even have, is it the Dolphins maybe? I want to say maybe the Dolphins and Bills might be in play as well, but you really got to home in on Broncos, Jets, and Broncos, Jets. You really got to home in on Broncos, Jets, and the Browns. Now, are the Browns in a position where they can be going into the playoffs right now? No, not with the supporting cast that they are a couple of years. They are in a rebuilding process right now. Let's be honest. They are. Jets, nah, they're a couple of years away. They're a couple of years away. Just offense, defensively, Broncos presents a pretty nice package. Now, if Kirk Cousins doesn't give a damn where he plays and he's all about that money, Browns, Jets would win hands down. But if he's trying to go into some playoffs, he's trying to win some divisional rounds, he's trying to make it to some conference championships, potentially make it to some Super Bowls, Broncos would, for me, I'm just looking at 2 cents from a distance as a football fan like you guys. Broncos, Denver Broncos, that seems to be the best fit. I'd like to know what you guys think about that one. So, on that note, I'm going to go ahead, going to shut this bad boy down. We did good, man. So, your next edition of the RCWR show is going to be coming at you on, what is it now? It's Wednesday now. We didn't even talk about Elimination Chamber picks, did we? Let me look at that real quick, guys. Hold up a second. Hold up a second. Elimination Chamber is this Sunday. So as it stands, am I reading this right? We only got 4 matches? That can't be right. Let me look at this again. Yeah, man, we only got 4 matches. Oh, well, this will be real quick. Asuka taking on Nia Jax. Singles match. If Jax wins, she'll be added to the WWE Raw Championship match at WrestleMania 34. Let me tell you what I think is going to happen with this matchup. Somehow I can see Alexa Bliss getting involved. Real quickly, if I'm booking this right, Alexa Bliss, the friend, I can see some type of a backstage segment where Alexa is trying to encourage Nia Jax, tells her, hey, go out there. I hope you're able to get your match. I'd love to be able to face you at WrestleMania. Talking up a really good hot mess of a game. Nia's just, yeah, whatever, sweetie. I'm not really buying that. But I tell you what, we could definitely go celebrate after I get done beating Asuka. I can see something like that going down. This match is going to tell a really good story, I personally feel. When it's looking as though Nia is possibly going to be defeating Asuka, though, I see some type of a scenario coming about where Alexa Bliss comes down that ringside, pom-pom cheerleader girl. Maybe she tries to distract the ref, something of that nature. I see one of 2 scenarios going down. Either she tries to attack Asuka and Nia Jax gets disqualified as the referee catches Bliss attacking Asuka and pretty much disqualifies Nia that way. Or maybe it's a situation where, or maybe it's a situation where, maybe it's a situation where somehow the referee takes some type of a bump. Alexa Bliss gets in there. I don't see. Do you distract? Do you give Asuka a DQ? That's where I'm trying to get at here. Do you DQ Asuka? And you could make the argument, well, she's still undefeated. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I something tells me Asuka's gonna retain her undefeated streak. That is a tough one. That is a tough one. Uh, hmm. That is a tough one. You know what? Bliss is going to do something. That's what I'm seeing. Bliss is going to do something. And it's going to cost Nia her shot. And that's going to make Nia pissed off. Now, you would think you'd get that match first. And then later on, you get your Alexa Bliss defending the Raw Women's Championship against Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Sasha Banks, Sonya Deville. So in that case, wow, what if they made Nia Jax have a Kane moment? She just gotta get her some freaking Alexa Bliss. That would be pretty badass if Nia Jax had came out at some point, was ripping on the steel cage door, trying to do her damnedest to get a hold of Alexa Bliss. I could see some type of a situation. Yeah, I would love to see that go down. And ultimately, Nia Jax gets the revenge. She has to be detained by a whole bunch of officials after she does a number on Alexa. But I can see Alexa being eliminated as a result, which would guarantee that you're going to get a new Raw Women's Champion. Who would that Raw Women's Champion be? It's a big part of me that would love to see Mickie James come out of there, quite honestly. I'm going to go with a dark horse. I'm going to go with Mickie James because you've got story continuity going into WrestleMania if it's going to be Mickie James taking on Asuka. Remember, these two have faced off at NXT TakeOver Canada, which I dubbed many times was a really great match. And that of all the programs that Asuka should have been working off the break when she came over to the Raw brand, she should have been working a program for a few months with Mickie James. Great cliffhanger from what they did at TakeOver. They can pretty much just pick up from there, unfinished business and all that. Could lightning strike twice for Asuka, right? I'm really liking that. I think to kind of have it come full circle like that in a way, that would be kind of badass. Woken, Matt Hardy taking on Bray Wyatt. God damn. Do I have to choose? Do I have to choose, guys? I really don't want to choose here. I would. Oh my God. I have to pick a winner, don't I? I don't care about this rivalry. I really got to be honest with you guys. I'm just going to say Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's going to get that one. I can't believe there's only 4 matches. We got one more. The Universal Championship match opportunity at WrestleMania 34. It's going to be Braun Strowman taking on Elias, Finn Balor, John Cena, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, The Miz. with this John Bravo dude putting out another goddamn snippet of something he has on Roman Reigns, promising it's going to be available in the next episode. I mean, the way he's doing this shit, it's almost coming off like a serial. That's how he's doing it. It's very irritating. I still feel that due to the circumstances of what's going on with Roman Reigns, that WWE, I just have them being hesitant. I have a feeling that the plans, maybe at one point, Roman Reigns all the way, but with this stuff that's going on, I just have this feeling that WWE is going to back off of Roman Reigns. A lot of people feel that Roman is going to be winning and going to face Lesnar at WrestleMania. I think WWE is going to go in a different direction. You got two options here. You've got Seth Rollins, who at this point has nothing to do unless you put him in a program against The Miz for the Intercontinental title. Seth would be interesting. Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, Universal title. I'm down with that. I don't see Cena getting it. I just don't. I love me some Miz. Timing isn't quite right just yet. I love me some Elias. Timing isn't right just yet. Finn Balor, long ways to go. Braun Strowman, really been picking up the momentum big time, really been connecting with the fans. You've got a great documented history right there between Braun and Brock. I believe that the course for WrestleMania 34 is going to take a detour. It's not going to be Roman. I would be shocked if it's Roman. Just considering what went down with Enzo Amore and all that, and you're kind of going, man, if you're the WWE and you're hearing about all these supposed allegations, all this bull crap that's running around, man, you really got to tighten it up. You really got to be smart when dealing with your talent. I'm really under the impression that we could be getting a situation where they go on ahead, they give in to my man Braun Strowman, which honestly, I would have no problem with that whatsoever. I would have no problem with that whatsoever. And that's it. That's all the matches. We did pretty good. What was that, like 15 minutes basically? We did pretty good. All right, so let me run down that card one more time. I'm looking at Woken Matt Hardy defeating Bray Wyatt. I'm looking at Asuka defeating Nia Jax. Nia Jax somehow gets that revenge during the Elimination Chamber. I got Bliss being eliminated. That's going to force a new champion, Dark Horse, to win that one. I'm going with Mickie James. And for your Elimination Chamber match for a shot at the Universal title at WrestleMania 34, can I be optimistic for this week? You can say, haha, told you so, Sunday night. Let me be optimistic. I got to go with Braun. Big Braun. I got to go with Braun. All right, so that's going to do it. So your next edition of the RCWR show, I'll be coming at you guys live this Sunday night, February 25th. We will be covering the Elimination Chamber event. It's going to be our after show. So join me for that one. We'll be streaming that live here, Spreaker, YouTube, all over the place, man. Make sure you give me a follow as well. I am on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just started really getting into Instagram too. Use the keywords the RCWR show. And for you guys that's checking out the stream on YouTube, we're going to say goodnight to you guys now. I got a couple more words to say to our Facebook and Spreaker audience, but YouTube, be safe, be kind to one another. I'll see you next go round. Take care.